Tom.
And we are Velocities in Music, VIMTV. Guys, today we're going to review a throwback. What year did this come out, Tom?
1999, I believe.
Nice. So late 90s. I got into this album from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Rage Against the Machine, the Battle of Los Angeles. You voted for it, I think that this is a good album, and I think that Tom really likes this album, so I'm going to let him just kind of take it away.
This is one of my favorite albums of all time, and there's a lot of nostalgia there. You know, I said 1999, now I'm doubting myself. I almost think it might have been 2000 or so, but it was around the turn of the millennium, and I remember, you know, the reason I don't remember is because it was so long ago, and I got it right when it came out. You know, I grew up with 90s rock radio, and my older brother John got this for his birthday, and he and I listened the crap out of it. So there's lots of sentimentality there. But really, when it comes to Rage Against the Machine, they've always been an anomaly to me. Because, you know, they only came out with 3 albums of original material throughout the 90s, and really, it's some of the most formulaic stuff you'll listen to.
I'll get to that.
I mean, all their songs pretty much, you know, centered around the same kinds of things. And I know that you'll talk about song structure, but regardless of that, I just mean even within those structures, or that structure, a singular, the things they do is even kind of predictable. You know you're going to get a tweedly-doo Tom Morello guitar part, you know, where he maybe scratches it with his sleeve, makes it sound like a DJ kit or something. You know you're going to get those bass lines that hold it down for whatever noise Tom Morello's making on the guitar. And then you know you're going to have Zach De La Rocha shouting about some political thing. I mean...
And bringing that shit in and turning that shit up. He really wants you to do those two things.
Exactly. And that's what it is. That's what you're going to get. So from there, it's like, where do you go? What do you even talk about? Because that's always what you're going to get. You're never going to get a ballad. You're never going to get a song where Tom Morello doesn't have a squeebly-doo guitar solo. But still, somehow, this band is just awesome. And even though I love them, I don't even get it. I mean, it's just one of those things that just is.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people out there actually agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that what makes them so incredibly memorable and got them so popular is just Morello's incredible ability to write a guitar solo.
He is a guitarist like none other, and he uses the guitar in a way that no one else does.
He reinvented it. I mean, I don't think there's been a guitarist since Hendrix that's really done as crazy as shit about...
Just stylistically, yeah. So with technique. He experiments with technique in a way, you know, not a lot of people have. And I think that brings an originality to Rage Against the Machine that no one can even get within a mile of. I mean, and that's the one saving grace of this band. Because other than that, they don't really have a lot. They have an attitude, they have an energy, and also just the fact that they play very tight, that their music is well produced, but really it comes down to that originality that they bring to the table, that through the 90s, while people were, you know, kind of trying to get close, they weren't.
Right. And I think that you get everything that Tom just said from the moment you turn on track 1, Testify, which is one of my track picks. I love that track. And I think that Rage just does a great job of just showing you how intense rock music should be. And while, yes, it's formulaic, and there's some downsides. Anytime that a band relies on a formula to deliver their music, there are always going to be downsides if they use that formula time and time again throughout the entire album. Even if they only take a break or 2 in there, if they do it more often than not, it's probably going to cause some issues. And this, I think, does suffer because of the same formula. This is verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. And there was some minor exceptions in there, you know, pre-choruses, outros, intros, stuff like that. And I feel like they do a good job on the songwriting perspective, specifically in the writing of the instrumentals, maybe not the arrangement of the different instrumental pieces. I think that gets a little repetitive at times. But what I have to love is just all these songs are just brimming with energy, this huge intensity, this wall of sound approach to writing a song. And it wouldn't be possible if they didn't have some of the best damn rock music production I've ever heard. This is the loudest, most intense, but yet pure thing I've ever listened to, and I love it. I love it. It sells the sound. I can't get enough of it. Now, Zach De La Rocha. This is political banter and lyrics and you gotta love it. It's called the album's called Battle of Los Angeles. Several of the tracks here are based off of 1984 by George Orwell. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of stuff that you can really get into with the lyrics, and some of the mega rage fans are going to. And I think that there's a lot of stuff to love about Zach De La Rocha's lyrics and parts and stuff, and it's fun at the very minimum and uplifting just to hear such a powerful performance. Now, I do gotta say, if he's really trying to convince me that he's pissed off and angry and wants to revolt and wants you to stand up and get motivated, he's got to do a better job than doing the same thing on every track, because his vocal performance on here and what he does is really more of a sales pitch than anything to me. I feel like he's not really selling. I really feel like he could have gone farther. I feel like he could have really showed me how intensely insane and how serious he is. He could have taken it to the next level. He could have scared the shit out of me, and I feel like he just kind of just was putting on a performance, something to entertain me.
You were spoiled by Glass John at the drive-in.
You're absolutely right. And other bands, Metallica, the Mars Volta. I mean, there's just been music out there that have captured that essence a little bit more, that have given me a more convincing performance. So while I dig the sound at times, I can't necessarily get behind the message 100%. I can go meh, meh, and it's just not the type of person I am. I'm one of those people who needed to be a little bit more motivated. Song structures do get a little repetitive. By the end of this thing, I'm going, I know what's coming. This is not nearly as fresh or as strong as it once was. And part of that's, I think, that some of the best tracks on this album are at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And, you know, you have Testify, Guerilla Radio, Calm Like a Bomb, Mic Check, everything here. It's just incredible. Sleep Now in the Fire. Ah! How can you not love that song? But then I think it goes through kind of a slump. Maria's very good. Track 11, Ashes in the Fall, I think is fantastic. And the closer, I think, is very I think it's just kind of just blasé, just typical Rage Against the Machine. That's just the way it goes. Personally, I think that the back half of the album is much weaker than the front half. I would have liked to see a little bit more playing around with their songwriting, their structures, and everything. But that's just me. Pushed me down to the lower than Tom, but it's still a good score. 77.
I'm going 94. This is one of my classics.
And you actually has experienced a lot of influence from this album too.
Yeah.
Both in your songwriting style and what you do in offset of VIMTV. So I can understand how anybody out there, especially if you grew up during this time period, this album really hit mainstream hard. It got into everything video games, as I mentioned before. It was all over the radio. Sleep Now in the Fire was played at every junior high dance I was ever at.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow, your junior high dances were way cooler than mine.
I'm telling you, they were. They were, but this guy was not any cooler than you, and I was the biggest dork. Anyways, what is your guys' experience with Rage Against the Machine? What was your favorite, or is your favorite Rage Against the Machine album, and are you excited? Are they doing a reunion tour? What's the word on this?
They've done some tours, you know, over the past few years and whatnot, but I've never heard anything about a new album, which is disappointing.
It is disappointing. I'd love to see what they could do next. Leave us a comment at www.velocitiesinmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesinmusic. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, check out Ian's blog, Tumblr, VIMTV@tumblr.com. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.